There's a demand for action after a street takeover on Chicago's north side. Take a look at this. Cell phone video captures the chaotic scene early this morning at Ashland and Diversey in Lakeview. In daylight, you can see the skid marks left behind. We received a number of complaints from people in the neighborhood. A viewer shared this video showing cars doing donuts as fireworks go off. Another neighbor told us he wants Mayor Brandon Johnson to take action.
I think he's too lenient. I think he needs to start being more aggressive with what's going on. I think he needs to add more police to the city.
Oh, you can forget about that, big dog. He was too busy at a diversity, equity, and inclusion event. We'll get there.
Have them start doing something instead of just doing what they can, and I think they need to start nipping it and actually holding people accountable for their actions.
Well, the video shows off.
They got one police car. One police car to break this up.
Officers responding to the scene, sending people running, but Chicago police tell us.
Listen, bro.
They have no information about the incident tonight.
Of course they have no information. The Chicago police tells them that they have no information about the incident tonight, but everybody is running, everybody is scattering, and they had one police car. One police car. Wait till they start to graduate to be more like how they are over in Oakland and see what happened to that city. Wait till they graduate and they be more like how they are over in San Francisco and see how they graduate. I was looking in the comments of this video when y'all sent me this morning, and some of the people are trying to remove Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, from accountability. And they said that this is not a Brandon Johnson issue, this is a police issue. Well, how is it not one and the same? Because you know that the police officers are funded as far as their hiring, because let's be clear, for those of you that may not be familiar, because I'm intimately familiar with Chicago's finances, their police department, their immigration policies, how they refuse to work with the federal authorities in order to remove the bad actors out of their lives, all of that, right? Let's be clear. The budget for the police officers, especially when it comes to their academy, them training them, hiring more police officers, are largely tied to whatever it is that he's going with the city budget. So the Chicago city budget is operating at a deficit. Just a few months ago, they were complaining and crying about the fact that it was a possibility for them to have to raise property taxes, but instead they raised all of the other taxes, all of the little ancillary taxes around it, and they continue to run in the Victim Olympics and fund all of these illegal migrant crises, these shelters, these places, and all of that stuff. Meanwhile, they were down well over 2,000 police officers the entire time. So you can't bring more police officers, you can't train anybody. They removed ShotSpotter, which then allowed for them to be able to preemptively and proactively deal with and address crime in the area. You can't do anything. Instead, Brandon Johnson largely stood on, and this is the thing that he stood on in order to become a mayor of Chicago, defunding the police. And they try to remove that. They're trying to get that removed and cleaned up all over the internet. But Chicago's Brandon Johnson stood on the side of and in opposition of their police officers and police department. I know several police officers over in Chicago. A couple of them I even coach. They hate Brandon Johnson. Absolutely despise him. Several police officers have been killed during his tenure. And the families of these police officers ask him not to come to the funeral. So how is it not a city issue when the police officers are funded based off of taxpayer dollars? Meanwhile, they spent upwards of close to $1 billion making sure that they took care of this migrant crisis, and that's not even in tandem with, it's not even remotely in tandem with and accounting for all of the other resources that you cannot really put a dollar value on if they go into your schools and the teachers. Police officers continuing to have to deal with them. At what point illegal migrants were sleeping in not only the airport, but the police stations, and Brandon Johnson was cool with it. Do you know how aggravated and angry police officers in Chicago was that had to see this and deal with this on a daily basis? But he shows up at a diversity, equity, and inclusion event over the weekend, the Buy Black Only, which alienates other people that is not a part of the community to not be able to shop in certain districts and at certain businesses and all of this stuff. And so we have a guy, and we're not going to remove accountability. We don't do it in corporate America. We don't do it when it comes to the parents of somebody that may or may not did something to somebody else. And we're not going to do it for the mayors of these cities. We're not going to do it for the aldermen. We're not going to do it for any of them. We're not going to remove accountability. And also on top of this, of course, we know that it's not cool from a cultural perspective for all of these people to be out here in these streets. Where's their parents? Where's the people to hold them accountable? Why do we keep patting the devil on? Why are we not making examples out of these people? So you had one police officer pull up with a cruiser and try to stop this, and this was the result of it. These blue cities are under attack. The culture is under attack. Our neighborhoods are under attack. Our children are under attack. And so if we continue to embrace this nonsense, if we continue to do this stuff and allow for it to make sense in our lives, even though it's not making sense in our lives, what do you think is going to continue to happen in your neighborhood? I've seen it play out. I've seen it play out. I'm old enough now as a 43-year-old man to have seen this play out and know exactly what the blueprint is going to be before it even happens. All of these things. Los Angeles is at a $1 billion budget deficit. That is not nothing to sneeze at. That is major money. Chicago at a $942 million budget deficit for going into 2025. And it's going to be worse in 2026. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think that this is going to play out? They raising property taxes. The cost of living is going up. Crime is up. Businesses are leaving. And the criminal element is starting to take over all of these streets. How do you think that this is going to play out? How do we remove accountability from every single person? As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to do you a solid. I remove Brandon Johnson's responsibility from this. You know why? Because we warned you based off of the people that you were voting for. Before Brandon Johnson, you voted in Lori Lightfoot. Oh my God, if that's not the worst diversity, equity, and inclusion hire that I've ever seen in my life, I don't know what is. I look at Brandon Johnson and the Lori Lightfoots and all of the mayors, the ones that sold y'all city streets. Chicago don't even own its own streets. I remove them personally from accountability because I have to hold accountable the people that voted them in. Have to hold accountable the people that voted them in. We're going to have accountability day on the Millionaire Morning Show because AOC's district, that's in shambles, and she's going on a tour, and they say that she's trying to run for president of the United States of America. I said, where? Where? Have you seen the places she's responsible for? The people are begging for things to get better over there. Crime is running rampant. They selling counterfeit products on the street. It's just bad in all of these democratic places, bro. And so all I'm saying is that we have to be careful on who we elect, and this is why we have to participate in the process. Y'all keep on voting all of these Democrats in office. They're going to continue to let crime run rampant. You can't blame the police officers. They don't have nothing to respond to. They don't even have a budget to hire enough police officers. They're overworked, and they're being assaulted, and crime is running rampant, and they trying to act like it's not a real thing, but it's been real, it is real, and it's going to continue to take over our cities and our states worldwide. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Teej Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. I love you guys. I appreciate you. What do y'all think? And especially for my Chicagoans. Shout out to my Chicagoans, man. It's not y'all, it's them. What do y'all think about what's going on? Y'all gonna make Chicago great again, or y'all just gonna continue to give it over to the criminal element? Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.